going to welcome Jack Tater to the Dr. Joy Show.
Thank you, Joy.
And he is the author of Safe for Retirement.
In the book, we talk a lot about different ways of eating right, and it really boils down to a number of different things. We actually spent some time looking at different diets out there.
Right.
Japanese diet, Mediterranean diets, which are very, very healthy diets. I mean, the stats are just, they're staggering in terms of the healthiness compared to what Americans are. But it really boils down to eating the fruits,
Right.
the vegetables,
Right.
the greens,
Right.
eating things high in vitamins. I mean, it's really common sense types of things. Everything else in moderation, avoiding things in excess, alcohol, and obviously things that you shouldn't be doing, smoking and things of that nature. But to just come back to the eating right, it's also eating it in small portions and enjoying the meal. I mean, a big part of this is, as a retiree, you're no longer rushing through your meals.
Right.
Enjoy your meals, try and eat slower. I know you're a big proponent of eating slower and chewing your food properly.
Right.
A number
20
of
times.
Exactly, exactly. But it's now enjoying the meals.
Right.
And it's funny because a lot of retirees really kind of take a hobby on of cooking.
Yes.
And getting into cooking and cooking with the proper ingredients.
Either they take that up as a hobby, or they like to go out to eat. I know my mother, she loves to go out to eat because she doesn't like to cook, but she's a big proponent about chewing. Every time she puts something in her mouth, she has to chew it 20 times, and her next birthday, she's going to be 80.
That's
so
great.
And she's very active. Now let's jump into organic versus not. What do you think about that?
Well, the whole question of organic versus not is one that is bouncing around in obviously current events out there. I'm a big proponent of really taking a look properly at what you need to have organically and what you don't need to have.
Exactly.
Now, also you need to understand that there are certain regulations with what the government considers to be organic
Right.
that may or may not be organic enough for you.
Exactly.
So there are certain foods that you should be taking a look at and buying organically. For instance, certain things, if you do buy meat, if you can, and I understand that this is always a cost situation,
Right.
unfortunately, in our times here. But meat, if you can buy organic or grass-fed beef and things of that nature, it is so much better for you because
Right.
the fat keeps in the chemicals.
Exactly.
Similarly with milk. We've seen that with milk. Now, whether
Right.
or not how you feel about milk and having it, having the grandchildren over, they like to have their milk and things of that nature.
Right, right.
There are also a number of fruits and vegetables out there which you really want to, if you can, have them organic.
And you have the list here.
The list is in there of them all, with the ones in there that you should be considering buying that are organic. And a lot of that is, take for instance something like celery.
Yes.
Celery, great food for you. You should eat it. The problem is the way it's collected.
It grows.
The way it grows.
Right.
I think in the book we talk about there's been celery found with 42 types of pesticides.
Well,
on it.
that's because the pesticides. Because I did a show on soil and organic versus non-organic, and my guest was actually, she was the director, or is the director, that runs the Princeton market.
Right.
Right. So that's another place where you can go and get your organic food.
Right. It's a great.
It's a great place.
Right.
So, but it's the fact that these things are deep rooted in the ground, in the soil, and then it's the soil that has the pesticides because it's not treated.
Right.
So therefore, that's how we get those. I call them bugs.
Right.
But
Right.
So let's jump on now, Jack. You mentioned stress in health and wellness, your health and wellness section, but you also. It dovetails right into mental attitude. What are you saying about mental attitude as that's very important for a retiree?
Well, mental attitude is actually the section of the book that is not only my favorite part of the book, but is really the one that's near and dear to my heart because I've seen so many people who have retired and they've bought into a lot of these stereotypes of retirement.
And what are those?
Grumpy, sit around the house, you're going to lose friends, give up on life, those types of things.
And they fall into a depression.
Right, and the reality is there are so many studies out there. And as a researcher, I spend a lot of time taking a look at the studies that are out there. And the studies the numbers are just staggering in terms of saying that if you have a positive mental attitude,
right.
a positive approach to life, you're going to live longer.
Right.
It's you know, we know it's all common sense. We know it works, but it's like, how do we do that?
That's right. So how do we do it?
Well, having a positive mental attitude involves a lot of different things.
Right.
And we go through a number of different approaches there. One of the things is, now that you're retired, it is now the time for you to kind of enjoy your passions.
Take it down. Take your deep breaths, meditate, enjoy something that you would love to do.
Exactly.
All right? Because then you don't view it as work.
Right.
What a novel concept, huh?
Right. You're now away from the environment that, for most of your life, created a lot of stress.
Okay,
work.
yeah, that's true.
Now you're able to do what you want to do. The important thing with a mental attitude is understanding, what is it that brings you joy and happiness in your life? What is your passion? So it's very important for you to spend the time to figure out what that is. The transition to retirement should include really a self-assessment of what you want to do, what is important to you,
right,
and how you can go about doing it.
Right.
And a big part of it is being involved with others. We talked about that in the last section.
Right.
But being involved with others is not just about, you know, going out and getting involved in the community. It's also recognizing that this is an opportunity to connect with people that maybe you haven't connected with in a while.
That's true.
Maybe it's your children, maybe it's your grandchildren.
Right.
Whatever. All those different types of things, you now have the ability to get out there and to find the joy and the happiness in your life. And if you do that and you find that purpose in your life, the studies prove you will live longer.
But you know, a lot of people they don't come to that point, Jack. They get there, they work, right? What they would consider work, or what we would consider work. Like, you know, we're both entrepreneurs now, and we're fortunate, and I say it was fortunate because we're not at that retirement age, right, quote to speak, but we were fortunate to get away from that rat race and actually do what we love to do while we still have hopefully a lot of time in front of us, right?
Right.
So, but a lot of times when people get to that 55, 60, they still don't know what their passion. Right. I've asked them, do you know what your passion is? I don't know. Well, and I asked them the question, and you probably have heard this. What is it that you would love to do? If you could do anything in the world, what is it that you would love to do and you would do it for free?
Right. It's a great way of looking at it. That's a great way of looking at it.
Right?
Yep, absolutely.
And it gets them thinking.
Absolutely. And a big part of this is also recognizing that the people around you are part of your life.
Okay.
And it's not so much that you're going to find a passion that is just for yourself.
Right.
We've found a lot of people, and in fact, once again, going back to the studies, the ability to give and give of yourself, time or whatever, for a lot of people, brings them joy and happiness.
That would be the
volunteer.
Life. That would be the volunteer aspect, correct?
Well, that's a big part of it also, but it's also something that even in the mental attitude, just being involved with your church community and things of that nature, or even just going out and finding opportunities, or also giving of your time to your children or grandchildren. A lot of times, retired people think, oh well, you know, I don't want to impose upon my children or grandchildren.
That's right. You don't want to be a burden.
And the reality is, there's ways that you can do this to make it fulfilling for everybody.
Right.
They want to do that, and that will raise your mental attitude, and that will, in essence, bring love back into your life.
You mentioned super attitude. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, in the, do you mind if I take a look?
No, it's 201, on page 201. Because
there's a big part of this which I just really love, because a lot of this is built upon. I bring into play a number of different people into the book. One of the people that I really admire is a gentleman by the name of Brian Tracy, who is a big self-help guru.
Oh, sure.
And his big aspect here is that you really want to take a look at what's important to you.
That's right.
What's important to you, and like you said, you know, what are you really out there looking for that
what's
is
your
very
purpose?
Exactly.
Right.
And you've got to remember, in retirement, things are going to happen. You're going to lose friends, you're going to lose family, things of that nature. So it's very important that you have the proper attitude, because something can happen to you in your life and it can really cause you to stumble, cause you to fall. But if you don't have the proper attitude, you're not going to rise up and you're not going to survive from it.
And then you fall into that level of depression, which is very hard to rise from.
Right, and we talk a lot about depression here, but one of the premises that Brian Tracy has is that there's 4 steps. One is to get this proper super attitude is really to focus on the future.
Yes.
Don't spend time thinking about the past or blaming people
Shoulda,
or
coulda,
regret.
shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah, it's exactly.
It already happened. It's spilt milk, y'all. Let it go.
Right. It's a huge thing, and you know, to a certain extent, now that you're retired, thinking about the past, there's good aspects to it.
Right.
Because in the book we talk about, you know, telling your story, writing down your story for other generations. It's a huge part of it. But in terms of your attitude, you want to think about what's happening ahead.
Right.
Because if you think about the past and you start blaming yourself and feeling bad for things in the past, it's not going to improve your attitude.
No, and your self-confidence is going to go way south.
Right.
Right.
And another aspect in here is to really focus on the solution. We're going to run into problems. I'm a big believer. My daughter will tell you, I'm a big believer that there's a solution to everything.
That's right.
No problem is insurmountable. There is always a solution. And as a retiree, you hope that you have the clarity of thought to really focus in on finding the solution. Getting away from what the problem is and really focusing in on what the solution is.
And then you said something about look for the good?
Look for the good. You've got, basically, things are going to happen to you. Situations are going to happen to you. You've got to find the good in all the situations.
Right.
Okay. There's
that silver lining, Jack,
exactly.
that our elders used to talk about.
Right. We talked earlier about certain things that maybe, you know, may have slowed us down because of injuries and things of that nature.
Yes.
And you've got to kind of say, well, what was the good? Did that allow me to slow down a little bit and spend a little time with people who needed me?
Right.
So there's looking for the good in every situation.
Okay.
You need to spend the time to find what's good versus just falling into what's bad. And the last part of it ties right in, which is to seek the valuable lesson. What have I learned from this?
Okay.
What has been the lesson? Because as a retiree, you're still learning.
Right.
So life presents to you certain situations, and it also provides you lessons that you learn from all of this. So those 4 aspects, and I love it, and as I mentioned, Brian Tracy came up with these things. I include in the book because I think it really helps you to, like you say, come up with that super attitude. We spent a lot of time talking about different approaches to improving your mental attitude.
Right.
It's just so huge for people to just be positive, live life, and be happy in living.
And what's the one thing, I mean, I'm asking you the question because I want to see what you come up with, but there's one emotion, whether you're approaching retirement or whether you're not, that people tend to have. What is that, do you think?
Well, you know me. I mean, I believe in having a positive sense of humor.
Right.
You know, and that helps me to get through a lot of different things.
I say worry, Jack. Because that's that worry, because as you get older, you also tend to worry a lot. Some tend to worry a lot about, especially if they have family members that are younger. Okay, okay, Ma, you're going to watch the show, but I'm going to say this. I won't tell her certain things, especially if I haven't figured out this solution that you were talking about, right? Until after it's all gone or after I've developed a solution, because I wouldn't want her to worry. Because, you know, as you get older, a lot of times, like you said, you lose your friends, you lose your family, and then you're focusing on who's left, and then you start to worry about their well-being. But I think worry is a big emotion. Can I just share with you with the story there? Of course.
As I mentioned to you, I wrote this book after my mom had passed away.
Right.
And one of the things that we learned after my mom had passed away is that she had she had cancer.
Right.
She had never told any of us about it.
I read that part.
And I think a large part of it was because she knew we had lives and she didn't want us to worry.
She didn't want to be a burden.
She didn't want to be a burden.
Right.
Now, you know, that was what she felt. However, I miss her every day.
Yeah.
And I wish it didn't happen. So there's a situation to understand that those around you love you and want you. So when you take that worry, you don't convey that worry onto other people. Other people want you around. Other people want you to be part of their lives.
Right.
A lot of retirees think, oh, my children are busy. They're, you know, they have their own lives. I'm a burden. I'm a worry, that type of thing.
Right.
And I think the reality is, as much as possible, I'd like to say to people out there, get out there and enjoy your family, be part of your family.
Right.
That whole aspect of worry,
right.
Don't convey it to others.
Right.
Convey love. Be love, seek love, be love.
Okay. All right. Well, I can get with that. What about you had something on page 218, and I'm telling you where to go just in case you get the book. The 10 joys leading to a joyous retirement.
Well, I did have you in thought.
Jack?
I did have you in thought there, Dr. Joy. But you know, joy is obviously one of the greatest emotions out there.
That's right.
And really is something that really people should take joy in life, and it's just very, very important. I mean, life is just a joyous time, a time to celebrate and a time to be happy. And one of the aspect that I close the section with, and also say on the website, you can print this out and put this up either on the refrigerator or whatever, are these 10 joys.
Right.
And I think in the book we talk about them, but there are 10 aspects that you need to put into your life to create that proper mental attitude, but ultimately to enjoy your life going forward.
And what are they?
First one is to laugh.
Every day.
Every day. Every day as much as possible.
That's right.
In fact, a good laugh is actually very good for your health.
That's right. It sure is.
So make sure you laugh at least once a day, if not more.
Right.
Even if it's watching a silly show on TV,
right,
or whatever, or listening to a good joke, or going to YouTube and seeing something silly.
Yes.
The second one is eat.
Right. Eat right.
Eat right. Enjoy the aspect of eating.
Right.
Okay.
Make it
Don't
an
just
event.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Whether it's a simple thing you do on your own or with others. The next one is to be open. Always be open-minded. We talk a lot about even spirituality in there and being open to different religions and different spirituality paths and things of that nature. So being open. Don't be that grumpy old person who says, I know everything. You don't. Be open.
Okay.
And in conjunction with that, learn, learn, learn. Always keep learning.
Because that's going to keep you sharp mentally.
Right.
Okay.
Next one, look good. I mean, I think it's very important. You're a senior. Yeah, you can dress however you want. You can go. You look good.
Smell good.
Yes. Self-esteem.
Take pride. It's all about the self-esteem.
Right. Right. Next one is little things mean a lot. Now, whether it's a little thing to cause somebody to laugh or to just help somebody out or to just bring some little happiness into somebody's life. Little things mean a lot. Follow your dreams, obviously huge. You now have the ability as a retiree to really go and do what you'd like to do. The next one I have is, my wife loves this one, which is to make a date with your negativity.
Oh, yeah.
There's gonna be times when you're gonna feel negative and down.
Actually, I learned something from reading that part, Jack, because I never thought that, and this is just me, I never thought that I would say, okay, at 4 o'clock on October 27th, we got a date. And then, but the key point that you bring up in the book is make a date, get it out, whether you're writing it or whether you're communicating vocally, right? And then once you're done, let it go.
Exactly.
That's the key.
Very much.
Okay, so the last two?
Get close to nature.
Okay.
I think it's very important. Go out there, take a walk, just enjoy the world around you. And the last one, which is seek love, be loved. As I mentioned, there's so many people out there who do love you.
Right.
So many people you haven't met who will love you. So go out there and just be part of their life and let them be part of yours.
So now let's talk a little bit about spiritual before we get to staying involved, which is our last key. What are your thoughts on the whole spirituality component?
Well, I think in the book, and I talk about this in the book, and it's very near and dear to me, because I think the reality is we've gone through our lives, either finding a path that has worked for us or still trying to find what we want to find. And I think retirement gives us a chance to maybe explore that or get to know it a little bit better. I've spoken to retirees who say, one of the things I wanted to do was to go out and read the Bible.
Right.
One of the things I wanted to do was to learn about Buddhism. One of the things I wanted to... This is the time where I think you now have the ability to spend time and explore different spiritual paths. Even if you feel set in your own, it will add and enhance your own thoughts.
Exactly.
Broaden your own thoughts. It also will allow you to explore certain things. Maybe you've never gone to a synagogue in your life. Now's the time to do it.
Right.
Maybe you have a friend who goes to that synagogue. Go with them. It's a great time for you to be with them. So, but you also are able to explore this. And I think what ends up happening is people start to broaden their own spirituality.
That's true.
And I separate out religion and spirituality because I think spirituality is so much different. It allows you to put your own fingerprints on it and to make it your own, versus religion, which can be a little bit more structured and things of that nature. And as we get closer to ultimately the, it becomes a little bit more important to really understand you know, how do I feel about this type of thing? And it doesn't matter. You can be an atheist and
That's
to feel
true.
comfort in that,
Right.
to feel comfort in that, and to know that's really who I am. Because now you're taking an inventory of where you are at this point.
Sure.
This is what I believe. Great. There's a certain comfort and level in feeling that way. So exploring your spirituality, this is the time to do it. No one's telling you need to believe this. You can do it on your own. And I think you broaden your own feelings there.
I want to add something, if I may. It's also you every day should, in terms of the spirituality piece, be grateful. Be grateful to that higher power, whoever that higher power is, you know, based on your religious beliefs. Be grateful for something every day, because that also changes your mindset towards having a positive attitude. Right? Finding that one thing that you're grateful about is also a good thing to do.
Amen. I believe in that. I mean, spirituality is a journey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And now you have a chance to really continue that journey, maybe spend a little bit more time with it.
That's true. So we talk about planning for happiness. We say financial, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. We've got those things. Now, what about staying involved as the last key to safe retirement?
Well, staying involved is really one of the big aspects when I first went into writing the book that I thought was something that was very important to my parents' situation.
Right.
Because staying involved, there's so many opportunities for seniors out there.
Right.
Volunteering. You know, coming to work at the community television,
right?
Getting involved with your church group,
right?
Doing so many different things, taking care of
hospitals, church,
so many things.
Walmart, well, they'll pay you, but
right. But so many things. But when a senior or a retiree doesn't get involved, and what ends up happening is they maybe get into a comfort zone, or they don't extend themselves, they don't get involved with others. They kind of suffer a bit from it.
Yes.
And they become very insular, and it impacts their health. And I saw that happen with a number of situations, including some things personally, where I think it's so important. It's almost like that missing key. We know enough to be financially prepared, take care of your health, and even your mental, but we need to be involved.
Right.
You need to stay involved. You need to go to the bridge club. You need to go to the church.
Cards, tennis. If you
golf.
Any seniors out there that are golfing, oh yeah. Any seniors that are out there that are physically active, I mean, that can really get out there. There's this thing called Senior Games that my mom participates in every single year, and she wins all these events. They have them at the state level, then the regional level, and then the national level, and so many events that you can be a part of. And it's for fun. I mean, some of them are competitive, but it's for fun. You get out there and you're socially interacting with people. So, Jack, anything else you want to say? How do people find you?
Well, we have, obviously, now that we have the book out there.
Woo!
The book is available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. It should be in bookstores soon. Correct.
Okay.
And also, what I'd like you to do is there is a companion website. When I wrote the book, it's as comprehensive as I wanted to make it.
Right.
Like you said, earlier, it's simple. There's a lot there.
Easy.
But things change.
Right.
Social Security rules, Medicare rules. We include over 150 web links in there. And we've been compiling volunteering links and things of that nature. So we want the website to be a dynamic website where you could go and maintain the latest information. So there's a website, safe4retirement.com as well.
www.safe4retirement.com. And it's a whole lot of / and compartments that support this book, because it has your updates and changes, right?
Right. And we also are encouraging people to tell us their stories. We have a section of the site where we want people to share their stories and tell us a little bit about their lives. And we think that's very important to get that message out and to give people a little bit of a platform to tell us a little bit about their joys and their challenges and their experiences in life.
That's great, Jack. I want to thank you. Two things I want to thank you about. I want to thank you for taking the time to write this book, to bring it in as a holistic approach, because I think that's very very good idea. It's all together in one spot. And I also want to thank you for being a returning guest on the Dr. Joy Show.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah,
Dr.
thank you
Joy.
very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we are at the end of our show, and until next time, be blessed, stay healthy. See ya.